do it. And others say, well, I just don't have the time. So I was talking with Linda Weilert and probably a year ago, and she said, well, I'm really into social media. And I said, well, how are you getting your business? She said, well, I'm working with a consultant named Claudia Lowens. So I got very interested, and as Linda's numbers went up, I said, you know, I'm not very creative, but when I see something that works, I jump on it and see how else we can expand it to everybody else. So with further ado, I wanted to have Linda come up and spend about 10 minutes to talk about how she got involved and what it's doing for her as far as social media is concerned and how you actually interact with Claudia. Then we're going to get Rob to come up, and Rob actually left Open Mortgage for a bit, and he came back, and he is really reinventing himself. We're very proud of him. The whole ops team, talk about you, Rob, because you're taking things, you realize the industry is different, and you've got to be different. So he's really doing a lot of different things to get business going, and we're very impressed with him. So if you think 2 years, if you think now is like 2 years ago, then you're wrong. You've got to change, you've got to adapt, you've got to do things differently. You may have to be smarter, you may have to work a little bit harder for a little while. But if you adapt, then you'll be a winner. If you don't adapt, unfortunately, you may not be a winner. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things here, and hopefully you'll hear 1, 2, 3, or 4 things that really speak to you, that you think I can do this. So hopefully you'll take that home and try it. Get a plan. And what I've learned, a mentor told me a long time ago, it's not the plan, it's the execution of the plan. So hopefully you guys will be listening all day today and all day tomorrow. Pick out 1 or 2 or 3 things that really speak to you, write them down, set a goals, put them down, and then execute your plan. So now I'd like to ask Linda, would you come up maybe 10 minutes and talk about social media, how you got in, and how are you getting your business, and how has it changed the way you do your business, and whatever you want to say.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I put together this quick handout that you probably have in front of you, and I just thought we would kind of go through it, and then if you have questions, maybe afterwards you could ask me, Claudia, and Rob some questions about social media and how it can increase your business. So first of all, embracing technology. So I think we all agree that this is something that we definitely do have to embrace. It is the future, and the sooner we get involved in it, the better it will be for your overall business. When I came to the company and I found out that Scott Gordon was into social media and he wrote a book, I knew that I wanted to come on board with a company that was moving forward in that direction. So I decided, okay, I'm going to join Open Mortgage. I'm going to start this whole social media thing and start working at Facebook, LinkedIn, and connect with someone like Claudia to do a lot of my social media and to teach me. As you know, social media, you have access to a broad scale of individuals. So there are hundreds and thousands of people online right now, as you know. Most of our borrowers are online, but they just don't do it as well as their children. And their children are, you're talking to them, and most of these children want to be contacted through, text messaging or through email. So the whole element has grown through social media and through the computer. And being able to connect with as many people as you can in your industry, or realtors, financial advisors, mortgage loan officers, bankers, and to keep your contacts intact, and sending these newsletters out that Claudia does for me every month, it brings a whole new element and wonderful articles and up-to-date information about reverse mortgages monthly. So they go out once a month, they hit, my 6,000 people that I have in my contact management list, and I get referrals that way. And now I'm getting referrals after a year with LinkedIn. I'm getting referrals through LinkedIn. I'm getting referrals through Facebook. I'm still not sure about Twitter yet, but Claudia will be sure to touch on how Twitter works with all of this. So it does take customer relationships to the next level, because not only are you able to communicate with them online, but it brings them to you to meet face to face, because we don't want to lose that ability to work with someone face to face. So it just strengthens your relationship even more. The benefits and examples. How social media works for me through the newsletters and LinkedIn has increased my business just in the last year. I mean, when I worked at Bank of America, I was, getting 50 to 60 loans a year. I'd like to get back to that if I can. Because of the change of the industry, we've all have dropped in our numbers. And I just really want to get up to 40 or 50 if I can this year. And doing that through social media, I believe, will help me get to that level where I want to be. With that, along with joining communities, I have, through social media and the newsletters, I have received emails back from realtors, financial advisors to come out and do presentations for their teams because they received that newsletter. Or they have seen me on LinkedIn through Pulse, which is another great avenue to introduce yourself and to share some wonderful information about basic fundamentals of reverse mortgage, because that gets them interested. And it just, it helps to develop more relationships. And with that relationship, they have relationships. So asking them for, what I usually do is I ask my contacts or my managers from banking centers or loan officers to share my information or my newsletters to their teams. And then they share it with their networking partners. So it's like a domino effect. And if you ask, they will do that. They're not going to just forward your newsletter or your LinkedIn posts just because they want to. You have to kind of encourage them and ask them if they will do that for you as a favor. So overall, I mean, be a pro. Be the pro in your industry. Become a main presence in your industry online. Get to the front of the Google search engine. You want to be on the first page, and that's where Claudia helped me. And the other element was Reach 150. I don't know if all of you have signed on with Reach 150, but it's a great avenue for your customers to say some things about their experience working with you. And then you could share that in your proposals as your recommendations. You could share it on social media, which Claudia also does for me. So if you have any questions, I'm here. I'm here until tomorrow or Saturday. So, and Claudia, I think, is here tomorrow as well. And Rob is here too. Okay. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't real sure what Joe referred to when he said, I want you to speak at the summit. I'm like, regarding what? Everything that I've learned, I bugged Linda about several times. If you want to learn something, the way I approach things, when I learned today, I got some red in me. I know I'm yellow, very little blue, but a lot of red, which means I want to be number one. I mean, let's be honest. We're not here to, just build relationships with people. We're here to make money. And I learned from calling her, and I said, what did you do? And she told me, first I thought she was a genius. Wow, where'd she get this newsletter? Where'd she find time to do all these things? And I didn't realize she was working with a professional, which makes her even smarter because she knows where to value her time. And then I decided, you know what? I'm spending $1,000 a month right now on a magazine that I invested in. And 10 months later, I did not get one phone call. So it's $10,000 I invested in knowing what not to do. I then realized that social media is going to be my future, and I needed to get out there and do it. So when I called Linda and she told me, this is how I did it, I said, well, I can do that. I can spend X amount of money, less than what I was spending. And it's been 7 months now, I think, 6 or 7. And now I'm getting calls out of the blue. Hey, Rob, someone referred me to you through a referral. I'm like, wow, that's exactly how Linda said it would happen. So it may happen for you in 2 months or it may happen in a year, but it will happen. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here. I had no idea that reading the guide was going to get me an award, but if you want to learn the product, if you don't want to disappoint your customer, that's the biggest thing to me. I have so much passion in disappointing a senior who's put their trust in me. And if I don't know what I'm doing, then I've failed before I start. So reading the guide is so simple. If you don't have forward experience, that's going to hurt you a little bit, because I knew how to process and underwrite pretty much and originate forward loans. So coming over to the reverse world made it pretty easy. So besides that, I don't know what else to add. Yes, sir.
How are you building up your list to send your monthly newsletter to?
Exactly what she said. I go out and visit banks. I visit realtors, CFPs, and I ask their permission. I made the mistake of not asking permission. May I please include you in my newsletter? And a few people flat out just reject you. But I asked permission and they gave it to me. So it's a numbers game. It truly is. It's not going to be like going out and meet a realtor and she gives you her business. You're going to go meet a realtor and you got to remind her 5 times. Remember this program? It's available to you. I had one lady call me and say, oh, Rob, I just forgot I had a deal. These people had to borrow money to close the loan. I should have referred to you. And that's okay. At least she was thinking about me after the fact. So get out, email Linda, email me. I'll just send you out the same information she sent me pretty much. And that is, go visit your local bank. You'd be surprised how many people are afraid to walk in and ask for the business. And maybe 2 times out of 50 of people told me, oh yeah, we're already working with somebody. So can't be afraid, got to have that read, be assertive. And when they say no, it's okay. So the next person will say yes. So I know other people in the room that will be very good at it. If you have forward experience, you can fall right into reverse.
You were talking about buying leads? Did you buy leads?
Yes, I still buy leads, and that's the hardest lead, I think, to convert, because I buy age leads, and they're a lot less expensive. You can afford to buy a lot of them, but you're going to be the 5th, 10th guy to call somebody, and these people are not very happy after being bothered 8 or 10 times. So it's a numbers game. For every 100 leads I call, I may get 2 deals. I would rather talk to a banker who knows when someone walks in the door and asks about it, it's a warm lead, versus me calling 83-year-old Henrietta who doesn't want to talk to me. So, yes, sir.
Do you add those age leads to the newsletter distribution?
Say that again?
The age leads you bought, can you then funnel those into the newsletter distribution to the worker?
Yes, I'm doing that currently. The people that I do close, yes. Once again, I get the permission. But yes, I do add them to the list. And I have gotten 1 referral off of that. So, good question. But for me, I have to have my feet in multiple fires, right? If you just want to buy leads and then you stop buying leads for 1 month, you're going to go 3 months without closing a deal. It's just a numbers game. So by now having realtors, builders, CFPs, I still buy leads. I want to get to where Linda is. How long has it been since you bought leads? 2 years? Never bought, she's never bought leads, see? And if you do buy leads and you want a telemarketer to call them, check with compliance, because they have to be licensed now. Live and learn. Very painful to get that phone call.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got booted.
Didn't want to talk about buying leads here. This is not what it's about. But Claudia, are you going to do it from there, or are you going to? One thing that impressed me, because Linda used to call on banks all the time, for Bank of America, and when I started talking to her about this, says, well, I don't call on banks anymore. I send my new newsletter out there, and I like that. You know, you make one contact, get a friend, and keep dripping them with the monthly newsletter, and all of a sudden you don't have to be present, because going and trying to track down a banker or whenever can be a hassle, can be very frustrating. But if you're just sending out an email, you know they're going to get it. They may not read it, but they get it, and they may pass it on. So that was one of the things that I was intrigued about. So here you go.
Great, thanks. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me now? Okay, so hi, and thank you very much for the warm welcome and just for the information that Rob and Linda and Joe shared. So Joe asked me to go over the types of services that I provide for my open mortgage clients, and tell you a little bit about myself and my company. So I have some slides that I hope will work okay. Do I have to be closer? I think I might have to be. No, I don't know, it's not working. Oh, okay, good. All right, great. So basically, I started WordFlirt as a kind of freelance on the side writing company. I was actually in the high-tech world. I was a high-tech recruiting consultant for 20 plus years. And I was always a writer, and so I started writing for people, helping them with their resumes, writing bios, writing web copy, and just did it on the side for fun. And it just sort of evolved, and I got more involved in social media. And so eventually I left the high-tech world and focused primarily on social media and web design in 2008. I have 5 team members now, plus some content writers. And we are, it's so fun to say, we're global. We have a couple of clients in Hong Kong, in the UK, Canada, and then of course in the United States. So we serve a variety of individuals, small businesses, nonprofits, and in a very wide variety of industries, primarily because the tactics that you use for social media, as long as you are researching and you begin to understand the industry, they apply to all industries. And then I have 4 daughters. I'm happily married. This is my second career, as I've mentioned. I've published a few books, and someday I will be writing romance novels on the beach in Maui. And what I'm not is I'm not a speaker. I don't usually speak in front of people, so I hope you don't mind. I'm kind of picturing you all in your underwear. All right, so basically, it helps to understand what you're trying to achieve with social media before you really set out to do a lot with it. And so I'm just going to tell you what I feel the social media objectives should be when you're using it for business. Brand awareness is key, and each of you in your own regions have really your own brand, even though you're under the Open Mortgage brand. And so you want to build your own personal brand awareness as you are with Open Mortgage. You want people to be exposed to you over and over so that they begin to build trust. They like you. The things that you're posting shows that you have authority in your field, and then they become, you want to be first top of mind for when they're ready. So kind of like the real estate agents, when you get that flyer at your door or you see their name everywhere, and then you're not in the market for buying any real estate or selling real estate, but then someday you're ready and you think, what about that person, Linda Weilert? She could help me with a reverse mortgage or your real estate transaction. So it's kind of the same idea where you just want to constantly be in front of them and showing them who you are and how you do it, and so that when they're ready, you're at the top of their mind. Technically, from a technical standpoint, it helps you with your SEO and SMO. SEO is search engine optimization. That is what Linda was talking about when you are on the front page of Google. When people search for the search terms that are, so in her case, it's reverse mortgage San Jose. And there's a lot of competition out there on Google. And by utilizing social media, that's one very powerful tool to help you get to that front page. SMO is social media optimization, and that's basically the same type of search results, but inside the search engine that is on the social pages. So for example, on LinkedIn, if somebody searches for reverse mortgage San Jose, there are many people that do it, but Linda comes up close to the top, or at the top, I think. And then finally, we want to generate leads. This is a building process. It doesn't just naturally happen overnight, and that's what Rob talked about, and Linda too, is that you're building something that leads to a machine of lead generation. All right, so there are many, many aspects of social media, and I could talk all day, and I do sometimes, but what I wanted to talk about are the main things that I do for my Open Mortgage clients. First of all is the content and the management of the content. So it's one thing to have a business page on Facebook, for example, or a LinkedIn profile, but it's another thing to actually be active on it and to constantly have content that is relevant to your audience. And that's a real tricky combination because you don't want to just promote yourself all the time. It's not like a TV commercial. You want to provide them with information that is relevant to them. So you have to think about what do they want. They're on social media to have fun. So you don't want to just push yourself constantly in their face, or they're going to disconnect from you. So creating the right combination of social media content and the managing the flow is one of the things we do. And then the monthly newsletter, which seems to be really popular. The newsletter is, you can get your list built in a variety of ways. One of the ways I'm going to talk to you about. But if you consistently send out that newsletter, like Joe mentioned, it's a soft approach. It's a way to provide that kind of authority and the reminder of who you are on a monthly basis. And it's, we try and style the newsletter so that it's not, again, promotional, but it's something that your readers want to see. And then with Rob, we've recently been doing some Facebook advertising, and I'm going to show you some results from that, our most recent campaign. And then Advanced LinkedIn Network, which is AKA growing your email list, because I don't know if you know this, but you can export all of your contacts from LinkedIn and put them on your email list, depending on the mechanics of it, but most of the email systems will let you do that. And we do a targeted advanced LinkedIn connection service that we will help you grow your target audience by specifically targeting the people that you want to reach, not just other mortgage advisors. And then we have a new tool that we've been playing with. Rob and Linda have been my guinea pigs on this one, but it's called, we call it our Advanced LinkedIn Profile View Management, and I'll explain what that is in a few minutes. All right, so for social media content, what we do is we're much better at knowing your industry now because we've been working with Linda for such a long time, but we do research and we create and write custom content that we post to your pages. We have a lot of stock images that we use, and then we edit, we make them look cute, we put words on them and all kinds of stuff. So we find and include images because images and video get a lot more views and interaction. And then we post those on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Sometimes we'll stagger them. We'll do one post on Facebook, and then 2 days later, the same post that was on Facebook, we'll put it on Twitter and just kind of play around with the flow and the content. And there's a tool that we use where we can actually automatically post blog articles from certain blogs, like Dan's, for example, the Understanding Reverse. We like to set it up so that every time one of those are posted, one of the blog posts are posted, they go out to all of the Open Mortgage social pages. And then we have our own dashboard where you can go on and you can look at the statistics, you can see what we have scheduled for you, you can curate or create content yourself, and it's just a tool that we offer for free as part of our service. All right, so a little more detail about the monthly newsletter. First of all, each month we kind of figure out a theme. We try and keep it fun. I think last month we did we do St. Patrick's Day? So we pick a theme, pick the colors, try to make it look like it's a fun but informational newsletter. We write a custom introduction for each of you. Like for Rob and Linda, I'll write an introduction for that month, probably talk a little bit about the theme, come up with a fun headline, and then a custom article that I write every month will go in the newsletter as well. It's important to include links back to your website. So we find if there's anything new that's been put on your website, then we'll find those articles and we'll put those in the newsletter. And then the links back help your SEO. A lot of people don't know this, but email actually relates to SEO. Everything seems to be connected, and so it does help you if you get those links. And if people click on the links from your newsletter, that's even better. And so we design the newsletter with the theme and colors, as I mentioned. And then I'll send it to Linda or Rob, and I'll just say, take a look, and if not, I'll just send it. So that's it's pretty simple. That's how it works. All right, so the advanced LinkedIn networking. So what I like to do is 2 or 3 times per week, I'll go on as you, or my team members will go on as you, and do advanced searches based on who we're trying to reach. So we search based on second level, and this is, by the way, this is something that each of you can do yourselves if you have the time, just to build your contact list. We'll do advanced searches, and it's second level connections only. We base it on the location within 50 miles of your location, your zip code. And we put in keywords. So for example, we might put realtor and then do an advanced search on realtors in your location. And then we customize and send a personalized connection request. And that might be something like, I see that we share some common connections. I'd like to connect with you here directly on LinkedIn so that we can both grow our networks, something like that. And so we send that out to each person, because when you make a personalized email or a connection on there, it's much nicer when people receive it instead of just the standard, static, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. And then we accept the requests on their behalf, and that helps to grow your network too. Now, I have rejected some in the past. If they look like they're reverse mortgage people in your region, then I'll either ignore them, and then you can decide whether or not you want to connect with them. Or if it looks like they're just spammers type of thing, then I'll just reject those. But we accept them on your behalf, and then about average 150 to 200 targeted new connections per month. And then what we do with that is we export the list of those and we put them in your email list, and those become part of your distribution. But you can each do this if you have the time to do it. This is kind of like a little tip. Okay, so everybody knows a lot about LinkedIn, but I don't know if they know that it's the #1 social media platform just for business. I like to think of it as being at a business mixer or a chamber of commerce mixer, but on steroids, and you reach way more people. It's primarily business to business, but your consumers, if they're on there, they're gonna look for you, and they're gonna look at your background. They're gonna look at your endorsements. They're gonna look at you as, are you an authority in your field? And then it's more than just an online resume. A lot of people think they just need to keep it up to date when they're looking for a new job, but that's really not the good use for LinkedIn. And this is a great place to reach your potential referral partners, like the realtors, the bankers, the financial planners, people in the elder care community. So that was that part about LinkedIn, but now I'm going to talk a little bit about the profile view management, which is the new thing that we're playing with. And really, if you've ever been on your LinkedIn and you go to some of the statistics about how you rank, how many people have viewed your profile, who's viewing you. If you haven't done that before, I recommend it, because you will get an idea of the activity that you're having and how it helps put you at the top of LinkedIn, or you're just kind of down in the weeds. And so when you're active and you have an active LinkedIn profile and people are viewing your profile, that gets you raised up much higher in the rankings on LinkedIn. So this is Linda, obviously, and she's #1 out of professionals like her, and this is all reverse mortgage people that have a similar profile to her across the US. And so she's #1 out of the top 99 people. And so here's what she did to do this. So she goes on LinkedIn every day. I do not do that for her. She does it herself. Good for you. And she adds connections actively. She likes people's posts and status updates. You see in the corner when you first log onto your homepage, there's a little box that says get up to date, and you can like and share and comment on people's posts or anniversaries and new jobs. And so she goes on there and clicks on those. And then we post for her 2 times a day, 5 days a week. Those are status updates that we talked about earlier, the custom content that we create. And we're now using a new tool called SearchQuant, which is an advanced profile viewing tool. And essentially what it is we connect to your LinkedIn account, and we will do a search, an advanced search, and create a list of people in your target audience. And then on behalf of you, the tool will go and view each profile in that list one by one. So when the next time the person logs on, they see, oh, Linda Weilert looked at my profile. And they'll click on you 9 times out of 10 because they're curious about who you are and why you're looking at them. And many times they will send you a connection request or reach out to you. Okay, so that's the logistics are we do the advanced searches and then get the search URLs. We create these campaigns in the Search Quant tool. Come on, baby. And then there's I won't get into the technology, but there's some tool, the splicing thing that helps create littler searches so that it doesn't look like you're a robot to LinkedIn. And then it views your profiles, and in the long run, you get more profile views, higher ranking, more connections, and more leads. Personally, I started using this about a month ago, and I'm in the most competitive connection field there is. I mean, I've got, in the 99 people like you, they're all social media people, so they're probably the most competitive for this particular tool. And months ago, I got in the top 20, and I was happy about that. And then I got into around top 10, and I was happy about that. But then I got stuck around 6. And there was this one lady that I just really wanted to beat because she was always #1. And so I started using this tool. I'm not competitive at all. Oh, and by the way, I'm a red and the yellow. I don't know what that means, but, but apparently I am. And so I started using this tool, and immediately, within a week, I went up to #2, and I just hovered there for a while, and I just started being more active and more active. I started writing more posts and just, getting more aggressive. And finally, I beat the #1 social media person in the top 99, and I've stayed there now for 3 weeks. Yay! I'm not competitive at all. Okay, so then another tool is the paid advertising that Rob and I have been doing on Facebook. And what we do is we create the visual ad. It's important to have a nice visual. There's a very, very limited amount of text that you can add to the actual ad, so you have to be careful about how you word it. You want to make sure that your call to action is inviting and your headline is intriguing enough for them to click on your ad. So we create the visual and the text, and then we research who we want it to go to. There's a gazillion, I know that's not a technical term, there's a gazillion different criterion that you can use for this, and it's really impressive how you can narrow it down to the exact people that you want to reach. And then you set the budget. You can do it as little as $5 a day. Then we run a test ad for a couple of days. We see what kind of response you get. We may tweak the criteria a little bit and continue to run it until we feel like we're getting the best clicks per the cost per click. And then we just monitor and measure the results as we go. No, primarily we're doing a couple of things. One, we send them to, if it's for realtors, for example, we send them to the HECM for Purchase page on your website. And if it's, we're starting to play with the lead forms where you can actually gather emails, and that we would put then into your email list. But we don't create the landing pages only because we haven't. I mean, we do it for our own business and other people, so we certainly could. Well, Rob and I, we were doing both. So we had one that was specific for realtors and then one that was more for the age demographic of the actual client. So here are some results. It's kind of hard to read, but in one case, he reached 16,098 people, and he had 573 clicks on his website, and it was 27 cents per click. And then the other one, oh wait, okay. And so then the second ad, this was the one for realtors, and there were 9,258 people that actually saw the ad, and 1,100 people clicked on the website, and that one cost 18 cents per click. So the results are that we spent $350, and 25,356 people saw his ad, and 1,673 people clicked through to his website. So just want to emphasize that whether he got phone calls from this or not, which I think he did get at least one, then the other perk that you get from this is you're getting clicks to your website, which goes back to that SEO. It's going to help your SEO and ranking you in your region. So I just put this last part up here because I don't really know. If you could kind of educate me how much it would cost to create a postcard, print it, and mail it to 25,000 people, I have no idea what that would cost. More than $350, I think so. All right, so the reason that we want to focus on Facebook ads, for one thing, is they know everything about us. It's scary. They know everything about the people that are on there. They know when you've clicked on an ad for AARP. They know when you've clicked on somebody else's reverse mortgage page or ad or anywhere that you've gone from LinkedIn. And so the good thing about that, even if it's spooky, is that you can get these, you can narrow it down to certain interests. So if someone, for example, showed an interest in reverse mortgage, that's a no-brainer, then you can put in that title, reverse mortgage, in an interest field, and you can see how many people you're gonna reach. And then you say, oh, maybe that's not enough people, so I'm gonna do it a little bit farther. So maybe it's retirement or AARP or Social Security, or you play with the different fields and you build your audience and you can see exactly how many people you're gonna reach. And so you can get as targeted as you want, and then if you only wanna spend $5 a day, you're hitting that target audience every day. And this new thing that's really cool is what I was talking about earlier, is that you can perform an ad that will capture leads and get you their email onto a list. And the cool thing about that is a lot of people, if they sign up for things, they use a fake email or one that they don't use regularly. These are actual emails that people use to log into Facebook. So the quality of the email that you get when you do a lead capture is pretty amazing. And then you can pick what you want them to do. So do you want them to like your page if you're trying to build your page? You can have them go to your website. You can give them a URL to go to your website. You can do the capture their lead, as I mentioned. And there's even just local awareness ads where you can see, you can have people be aware of you. So you format your ad so that you're saying, hey, if you're retail, you might say, I'm new in the neighborhood. Come on over and see me. That's more of an awareness type of ad. And then clicks and calls are two of the things as well. And one of the cool things is you can also opt to use this ad on Instagram, right from the ad manager. So these are just some other things that we do for our clients. And I'm not going to go over each and every one of them, but I just thought I'd put it up there and then hopefully leave room for questions. So any questions? Thanks.
I have questions. Okay, good questions. Carlos?
The search engine optimization that you're doing for your clients, is that unique content in the past, some of the stuff that we subscribe to is the same for everybody, and Google Analytics will discard that information? Are you doing things different for each person?
You mean for the actual content? Okay, well, the SEO content it's individual. Some of it might read the same, but it's individual because it has a link to your own website. And so Google, the search engines work differently than Google. Anywhere that you post on an authority site, so for example, if you post on Facebook or LinkedIn and there's a link on your post back to your website, that gives you some SEO juice. If somebody actually clicks on it to go to your website, that just gives you even more. And so the key there is to have your link. So an image may look the same, there may be the same sentence, but the link is the key. And we try to put links wherever it makes sense. It sometimes doesn't, but we definitely try and get it as often as we can. And that's where the Twitter comes in, is that we will tweet your individual links and comments over and over. And that's what Linda was saying. She wasn't sure how it works, but that helps the SEO too.
Speaking of Twitter, of course, out of full disclosure, I just signed up to it not that long ago.
Right?
But my comment to you was, I don't want to tweet, and you said, you don't have to. We'll take care of it. You just want to push your SEO.
Right.
Now, I guess the question I had is this work for all forms of social media? Is YouTube going to be the same as Pinterest or any of the others that I think are listed on the bottom of your screen? Are they all kind of weighted the same?
Weighted the same in terms of?
For SEO.
They are, because they're all considered high authority sites in Google's eyes. And so wherever you're posting, you're going to get more attention if they're on a high authority site. YouTube, though, and Google Plus are probably the main ones. I personally don't love Google Plus just because it's hard to use and people don't understand it, and the demographic of the people there is not necessarily the demographic of the people I work with. It's much more high-tech, 20-somethings that are on Google Plus. But if you post on there or on YouTube and you have a link back, of course Google's going to give you favor because you're on their platform. So that's the benefit for them.
That leads into my second question. Some of us just film videos today, of us personally.
Awesome.
How can we leverage that? Is that something we would put on YouTube or is it compliant?
Absolutely. I would totally put it on YouTube. Yeah. So, I don't know the exact statistics, but it's crazy high as far as the difference between the interaction and the results of a video compared to images compared to text. And so as much as you can be visual, that's way better than text. And as much as you can put video on anything, whether you post it on Facebook, your blog, YouTube, wherever you're at, that's going to by far give you more benefit. So I would definitely take that video and put it on YouTube. We'll create you a YouTube channel. Hi. Oh yes, hi. Nice to meet you.
Let's talk about database management just a little bit. So you're creating your own internal database for social media. We obviously have our CRM data. How do you work that? I mean, do you manage all of the data? Do we just send you our contacts in addition to what you created? How does that interface work?
So I'm not clear about the data you're talking about. Are you talking about like the email lists, or are you talking about the dashboard that I'd mentioned earlier?
An example would just be, so you're basically extending our network on LinkedIn for us, and those people, you're going to market for us, competitive. But will those people get into the same list and get a newsletter eventually? I don't understand how that goes.
Okay, so what we do is, so for example, I would be in your LinkedIn account and I would purposely go and connect with those people, and then those connections I would export and put them in your own mail account. So like MailChimp, GetResponse, Aweber, whichever tool you like, I would take that in your own account. And so the newsletter would come from you to your contacts. Does that answer the question? Or you can enter it yourself. Yeah, I mean, I can show you how to do that. It's pretty quick.
And I thought Claudia did a great job.
Thank you.